Hello, today let's talk about yet another new true wireless model made by Noble Audio. And they are pretty productive actually in this segment. Not so long ago I made a review for their FoKus ANC, but it was more affordable model. And the new Mystique is the successor of their FoKus Pro that I haven't tested unfortunately. So I can't say anything about predecessor, but this model is a hybrid true wireless earphones built with Qualcomm chipset for wireless connectivity. It's a hybrid model, uses single dynamic driver and two balanced armatures. It has companion app, supports codecs up to aptX adaptive, no aptX HD or LDAC. They also put here new not new, they positioned microphones differently, so I have hope for improving quality of microphones, which is not the strongest part of their true wireless models. And mainly it's all about the sound, because their price is pretty high. It costs $360, which sets them apart from the rest of competition, because usually in this segment we getting like top of the line performers like Sony, Sennheiser, Apple. Actually Apple sometimes, even not sometimes, but quite often are cheaper. But anyway, model is interesting, so let's have a closer look. Box is traditional for the Noble Audio. You can see all technologies featured here on the side. Yes, it has about 7 hours of work time, depending on the volume you'll be listening to, but 7 hours is average. 3D printing housing, triple drivers, and so on. And they have ambient transparent mode, but no active noise cancelling. And also they duplicated it here with a bit more explanation. Let's open this box. Actually, does it have any seal? No, it's just tightly fitting sleeve. Inside also everything is pretty familiar, reminding previous models. So instruction manual, it's for those who can't understand everything without. Of course, I'm kidding, reading manual is often a good idea. You know, everything is super familiar here, I mean accessory set, presentation, and other stuff. So here we'll get storage pouch, and now they put accessories inside. Short USB type A to USB type C charging cable, and nice convenient plastic box to store different tips. So you can see 3 pair of single flange oval tips and 3 pair of double flange rounded tips. Anyway, as you can see, package, presentation and stuff are pretty well done. In terms of design, here is their case, and actually it's heavier than usual because they made this top lid of metal. It feels pretty pleasant, but at the same time case is weightier than traditional true wireless models. And of course it's not really pocketable because it's pretty thick. If we open the lid, actually it's kind of strange hinge used here. It not opens smoothly, and when you try to close it, actually here it has a pretty strong magnets. But it's more of nitpicking. Inside there are 2 places for the earpieces themselves and a reset button. On the front panel there is indication with 4 LEDs showing the charging status. As for earpieces themselves, of course they are beautiful, and they definitely looks like Noble Audio product now. You can see this swirly pattern on the lids and on the faceplates, and interesting LED indicators underneath the faceplates. Top part here works as a sensor, and it has interesting control schema. Single taps on both earpieces plays pause music. On the left, double tap lower volume or upper volume, and triple is opposite operation. And here double tap is next track, triple tap is previous track. Not super convenient in my opinion, but at least you have an option to control both volume and tracks. And also, if you press and hold left earpiece for 3 seconds, you'll hear voice prompt that ambient mode is activated or deactivated. They are pretty thick, but fit into ears pretty well. It's like classical traditional shape, comfortable and tuned for lot of ears. As you can see, spouts are pretty thick, so it could be a question if you have really thin ear channels, but taking some small tips will most probably fix it. Thanks to this pretty extended and thick spout, they have pretty decent passive sound isolation, and I almost not regret about the absence of active one. There is a lip for holding the tips and protective grill, so all that nuances are took into account. Build quality is nice, they looks pretty seamless, solidly built, really nice in terms of design and actually in terms of ergonomics too. They have really good connection quality, up to 10 meters without big issues if you have some good source, so in this aspect everything is pretty okay too. Traditionally for modern TWS earphones, this FoKus Mystique has companion app, and actually there are plenty of companion apps by Noble Audio in the Play Store, and this one should be called Noble FoKus, because they also have Falcon, Sound Suite and so on. So here is FoKus one. Traditionally here you got photo of earphones, the charge level, also caption and buttons that push you to try equalizer. Also here you can enable and disable ambient mode and also navigate tracks from within this application. And also there is a rollable button panel that gives you additional settings. Here also you'll get equalizer, like 5 presets: classic, pop, jazz, rap, and I don't know why folk. And for folk, actually here they put some DJ equipment, so kind of confusing. Of course you can just move it yourself, and also you can select personalized mode, so you pressing add my equalizer, and then you listen to different tonal signals and you pressing how many sweeps you've heard, and based on that application adjusts the equalizer to your hearing, actually giving pretty decent results. Custom UI, here you can select what's going on double and triple click, but actually default settings are kind of acceptable. So you can update firmware. I actually missed the settings part. In the settings you can select just few options, and also you can disconnect them. So as you can see, functionality is pretty basic, but still equalizer is pretty feature packed. Here is a traditional microphone test. I'm recording this part of the video with earpieces in my ears. I won't apply any gain correction or equalization here, so this part will give you an impression about their microphones in quiet room. And of course about the sound, I must admit that this model suits better to the Android smartphones with aptX or aptX adaptive. So they support AAC, but AAC implementation here is not great. It's not bad, but not great. So with iPhones it won't get its full potential. Of course it still be enjoyable and pretty nice, but aptX adaptive, especially with good implementation, will give you a bit better results. So as a transport I use my FIO M11 Plus, and it's like some approximation of average Android smartphone. So what we're getting here in terms of sound, we're getting pretty fun V-shaped tuning, but of course not too much, not like that typical cheap true wireless models. Here everything is done in a more accurate way. Of course, Noble Audio founder Wizard knows how to tune the sound, and he definitely tuned it the way to hide issues of lossy compression and give you more engagement. And in general, more engaging sound is typical for the Noble Audio, and here you get it. So bass is elevated, not too much, but enough to give you a bit of additional weight and make bass more foundational, more present. It has good depth as much as the lossy codec allows it, but deeper layers of bass are also present. They're not trying to be pushed forward, but still they have noticeable amount. Of course, don't expect like mega deep bass punch, but still it's enough to give the nice sense of presence. Resolution is normal. Of course, it's not the fault of earphones themselves, but in general, bass is really well balanced, well controlled, and stays in place, so it will satisfy both those who like quantity and quality. Of course, it's not 100% unveiling the potential of some realistic instruments, but it's also to be expected in the true wireless segment. But for me, the most interesting was actually how it performs with deep bass, and I select Juno Reactor Showtime. It has fast and not super deep, but pretty deep bass line, at the same time not exaggerated as some electronic music used to. And here you definitely got a nice amount of body, nice amount of impact and punch, so really good results here. I enjoyed listening this track. Mid frequencies are actually transparent, as close to monitoring as it could be in this case, not trying to highlight something or hide or something like that. Of course, they are not going too far into micro contrast, because in this case you hear all issues of lossy compression. So it's balanced in this aspect too, and almost zero artifacts of compression will be heard. In general, you'll get a nice sense of realism in the instruments, you'll get full-bodied vocals, and actually they're not trying to push upper mids too far to make everything more exciting. They're trying to sound closer to realism. They built a pretty good stage for the true wireless model. Like usually true wireless models are just slightly above average in width, and it's in best cases. But here they're making not huge but noticeable step to even better width. But depth remains average, but with good layer separation, so still probably it's some limitation of Bluetooth connection. I really wonder where that LC3 codec that we are waiting for 5 or 6 years, where is it? No, I don't know. Anyway, example for the mid frequencies, I've selected really complex. It's Marvin Gaye, and it's Right On, one of the biggest and longest tracks on his most favorite album What's Going On. And here you'll get a lot of interesting instruments that goes to the high frequency area and requires pretty technical mids, and of course Marvin's vocals are main staple of this performance. And of course it's not on the level of wired connections, but for the true wireless it's a really good result, so pretty enjoyable in this case. Nice sense of realism here. And treble, actually it has good extension, probably there is some compensation in terms of treble extension for the lossy codec, because usually extension for the true wireless models is lower than I hear in this model. And it has nice basic overtone saturation, no audiophilic stuff like layering, but basically it's something to expect for the wireless models. If you need that rich trebles, layering and so on, go on for the wired model. Noble Audio have plenty of them too. But in general, pretty pleasant treble, slightly accented but not too much, not being too harsh, with good sense of airiness and crispness. And another complex, really complex track for the true wireless model, and it's also not 100% represented here, but I really want to understand the limits of this model, what they can do, and they can do pretty lot. So Kent Poon, Lush Live, it's like really high quality record with lot of overtones and requiring really good performance both from source and earphones, and of course lacking of layering here is noticeable, but they do really good with basic overtone saturation and airiness, so vocal sounds really realistic as well as an instrumental part. So to summarize this sound part here, actually really good performance, nice sense of naturalness with a slight boost of fun factor. So this model tries to be like really well balanced here. Speaking about the compressions, I unfortunately haven't heard previous FoKus Pro. A lot of people say that they prefer that tuning more, others say that they prefer new tuning more, so I am not sure here, and I won't try to give some opinion based on others' feedback. So compared to FoKus HANC, it's noticeable a step forward, more higher level of detalization, better developed treble, more engaging bass, so noticeable step forward. Actually, they reminds me Fuse FW5 in terms of tuning, maybe because it's because here used hybrid schema, but Fuse has more deeper bass, more focus on the deeper layers of bass, worse mid frequencies and slightly less extended treble. This one does about the similar signature, but more accurate, more refined. Compared to, let's say, Sony and Sennheiser, here you get more detailed mids and especially more extended and airy treble thanks to the balanced armatures, but you will lose a bit of quality of life features like noise cancelling, better transparency mode. Actually here it's okay, but you still hear that it's like some earphones that retranslate, what a complicated word, retranslate outer sound to your ears, not like absolutely transparency like with AirPods for example. But their main rival actually is Devialia Phantom in my opinion, because both models tries to sound refined, more lifelike and so on. But actually Devialia does that a little bit better, and still it's the best true wireless model if you're looking for something with really natural sound. But this one is a bit more fun, so if you want more engaging sound signature, that could be your option. So thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.